What are the healthiest oils to cook with? What if I told you that smoke point, the smoke point of an oil, really doesn't matter when it comes to how well an oil holds up, right? And doesn't combust and doesn't oxidize under heat. You see, smoke point is just a single temperature at which smoke starts to appear. And that actually has very little to do with the overall oxidative state of the oil. In fact, what we're actually really looking at is when oil is cooked, it starts to, over time, oxidize and hydrolyze. And so what we really need to understand is the oxidative stability of the oil. How well does the oil hold up to high heat, either for a short period of time or over time? And that's going to tell us the best oils to cook with. There's a 2018 study where they took a number of plant-based oils and they heated the oils gradually from 25 to 240 degrees Celsius, which is 77 to 464 degrees Fahrenheit, and they measured them at every 30 degree Celsius increase. They also heated the oils at 180 degrees Celsius, which is 356 Fahrenheit, for 6 hours. So they did one where they gradually increased the temperature and one where they kept it at a high temperature, 180 Celsius, for 6 hours. Again, that's much longer than many slow cooking methods recommend, but they measured the samples at 30, 60, 180, and 360 minutes. In each sample, they looked at oxidation, oxidative stability, fatty acid profile, and toxic byproducts, something called polar compounds, which are these toxic inflammatory compounds that are produced when oils are kept at a high heat for a period of time. All the samples were cooled and analyzed later. The oils that were tested included extra virgin olive oil, just regular olive oil, canola oil, rice bran oil, grapeseed oil, coconut oil, high oleic peanut oil, sunflower oil, and avocado oil. And what they found was that the one with the highest oxidative stability was coconut oil, and that's because it's really high in saturated fats. And saturated fats are the most stable fats that we can use when we're cooking. Coconut oil is 92% saturated fats. It really doesn't have any antioxidants, very low in antioxidants, but it was able to hold up under heat because of the high saturated fat density. Extra virgin olive oil was the highest in antioxidants, the highest in polyphenols, and even though it's very low in saturated fat, it's also very high in monounsaturated fats. Those are also very stable, and so it had a very high oxidative stability as well. And then the oils that were high in polyunsaturated fats and lower in antioxidants, they had a much lower oxidative stability. Canola oil had the lowest of all of the oils when it came to the oxidative stability. So a terrible oil to cook with would be canola oil. Surprisingly, peanut oil actually was quite high with its oxidative stability, even though it doesn't have a whole lot of antioxidants, but it was a high monounsaturated. So it was a high oleic, meaning that it was high in monounsaturated fats, and that helped stabilize it. But ultimately, the lesson we can learn from this, because avocado oil has a high smoke point, but it doesn't have a high oxidative stability. So it's really not a great oil to cook with because it doesn't have a lot of antioxidants in it. And so the lesson we can learn from this is that the more saturated the fat, the more oxidative stability, and the more antioxidants, the more oxidative stability. So oxidative stability is going to come down to the composition of saturated or monounsaturated fats, because both of those are stable, with saturated being the most stable, and antioxidant compounds that are in the oil. So extra virgin olive oil has high antioxidants and high monounsaturated fats, which gives it a high oxidative stability. And coconut oil, because it has high saturated fats, has a high oxidative stability. Now, my favorite oils to cook with are going to be primarily saturated fats. It's going to be things like beef tallow, coconut oil, grass-fed butter, or ghee. Those are all 50% or more saturated fats, and they also have antioxidants in them. Particularly the tallow and your butter have fat-soluble vitamin A in them, and that helps protect them. It gives them a good oxidative stability and a great flavor. Now, coconut oil is also a really good oil to cook with. So if you're on more of a vegetarian or vegan diet, coconut oil would be the oil to cook with. Especially if you like the flavor, right? You can use that as a flavor and it holds up really well under heat. Now, you can cook with extra virgin olive oil, but you are gonna lose the powerful polyphenols that are in it. And so I recommend using extra virgin olive oil in the raw state, putting it on salads, marinades, putting it on meats and things like that in its raw state, so you get the beneficial effects of the powerful polyphenols, the oleocanthals, the hydroxytyrosols that are so beneficial for the body. So use that in the raw state and instead cook with your higher saturated fats. Coconut oil, beef tallow is a great one, and grass-fed butter or ghee. Those are my favorite. I love the flavor of grass-fed butter and ghee the most, and that's why I cook with that primarily. That's my primary fat that I use when I'm cooking because I really enjoy the flavor and it has great oxidative stability and it holds up under heat over time. So again, high saturated fat, high antioxidant oils are going to be the best ones to use when you're cooking. Do everything you can to avoid the ones that are easily oxidized. That's going to be all of your seed oils, canola oil, soybean, safflower, cottonseed, peanut oil. Even though that was able to hold up well, it's still very high in omega-6 fats that are pro-inflammatory. I'm still not an advocate of consuming peanut oil. It does have a greater oxidative stability than those other seed oils. It's still not a healthy oil to be using.